Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit, because he was fucking useless.
Right, so what I'm going to do this week, Tony, is I'm going to do absolutely nothing right up until the very last minute of the podcast, and then I'm going to chip in with a killer line. That's what I'm going to do.
Right, well, that's been a good podcast. Thanks for listening. And here's John.
Oh, mate. That
with his closing statement.
We were just saying a minute ago, weren't we, before we started recording, just what a punch in the guts that was last night. Oh, a pizza's arrived. Back to the pizza. Have you cut it up? Oh, God, it's come, Tony. It's not
6
even
years old.
Cut up. You know, I've got a pizza for you, look. Sorry. You entertain the troops for a minute, Tony, while I cut this pizza into slices. Sorry.
Are you actually gonna cut it yourself? Are you sure you're all right?
I'll have to now, won't I? I've got no option. Unless I phone someone up to come and do it for me. God, that's annoying.
Bless you.
See, the reason why I'm having a pizza is because, like we were just saying, Tony, I've been up since 4:30 this morning. I've driven to the far side of Derby to do some stupid course, which meant by the time I got back, feed the horses, couldn't eat my dinner, so I'm back to pizza. So there you go. The good old days are back, Tony.
Well, there you go. A typical day in the life of
me, of an air source heat pump engineer. Yeah, like what we're saying, it's quite funny because at half time I was in the bar and I was talking to, some friends, and I goes, it's only a matter of time before we score here. Because I'm just like,
oh yeah, kiss of death, thanks very much.
Oh God, that's my fault. I mean, the good thing about it was my son said when we came out, he said that was actually an entertaining game to watch, which it was, wasn't it? I mean, I thought we were good last night, weren't we? It was good to watch that. I enjoyed watching it.
It was a vast improvement in terms of that we looked like we knew what we were doing, if that's the right phrase. But we obviously the result was the killer. That was the issue. But at the same time, the stats suggest that we were by far the better team. We were winning second balls again, which I'm always going on about. But when it came to it, right at the end there, just the free kick was terrible. Then the cross that never was didn't arrive. There were just so many things wrong, mistakes made in that few seconds there, and that's what killed us. And if it hadn't have been for that, it would have been a disappointing draw, I suppose. It would have been, yeah. The fact that we didn't score a goal. I had a quick watch of the highlights there. We had a header in the first half, which, actually looking back on it, should have been dealt with. Should have scored. Simple as that. It really should have been scored, but sadly, it didn't happen. And we all know what the score was and how it happened and when it happened. Made it obviously nigh on impossible for us to come back from that.
There was quite a bit.
Not much more to say, really, is there?
There was quite a bit of extra time, wasn't it, at the end? And I thought, no, I'd be lying if I said I thought we were going to score, because after that I just thought, no, we're not going to score, are we? The only good thing was I was pleased for their fans, whose reaction was, oh, we've won the World Cup. I just think, mate, it's Tuesday night. You've beat Milton Keynes 1-0.
I said, what goes around comes around. I can remember going to Shrewsbury on a Tuesday night, and I'm outside having a fag, looking directly at the goal we were shooting towards, and Mr. Bowditch, who I bumped into on the way out last night, was the scorer of that 94th minute winner. And I remember him saying, I saw him the next day in a shop, and I said, that was a great result last night. And he said we were terrible. We did not deserve that. And you've got to admire his honesty. But he was absolutely right. Based on the performance, we probably didn't deserve anything that night, but we definitely did last night. I mean, I'm not going to say it was a travesty, because you got to score your goals,
yep.
But yes, it was a little bit disappointing, wasn't it?
I mean, in their last two games they've played, they've scored 9 goals. I'm looking at them, and
with that, that's worth pointing out because they scored
Yeah.
a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
And let it one goal, I think. So
And let one goal in, yeah.
I mean, defensively last night, I wouldn't say they were spectacular. They did what they had to do to stop us scoring. But yeah, I mean, really, based on the position we're in, that performance was encouraging, and there were lots of good signs about quick improvements, maybe that have been brought in, and a little bit more confidence.
I think,
dare I say,
the two new signings we played. What's his name? Is it Leko? Is that the fella? I thought to myself,
how good was he last
mate.
night?
And the great thing, like my lad said, going back to him, he said, we've actually bought him. He's not like a loan, you just think, well, you're really...
Yeah.
It's quite funny because at the Forest Green game, people were saying, hey, he's absolutely shit. What a spectacular way. Why did we buy this crap? And then, just like, yeah, give the guy a chance.
He was a standout player last night.
He was
by an
brilliant.
absolute
Even
mile.
that other fella that they brought on.
He really was.
He was brilliant last night, him. He really was. And everything. I mean, he was trying all these little tricks, and 9 times out of 10 they were coming off, weren't he? Nutmegged the guy, didn't he, towards the end? Brilliant.
Sometimes you think, every 9th, 10th one of those. But the amount of times he looked like he was losing the ball, but he still managed to keep it. And, yeah, it was great. And he was, as I say, head and shoulders above everything else on the pitch last night.
He was.
By an absolute mile, And they were resorting to dragging our players back. I mean, I love Tom Flanagan, but
didn't realise it was Tom Flanagan until
a bit of a liability when it comes to being a defender, which is a bit unfortunate.
It's
when
a drawback,
your job is to be
and he is a defender. It's a major drawback for him. It's quite funny because we didn't realise it was him till about halfway through the second half. You think, oh, it's Tom Flanagan nearly. What do you reckon to that linesman that was on your side? What do you reckon to that?
It was hilarious. He looked like he'd fallen out of a 70s sitcom for a start.
He really did.
What is it with the officials and this missing leg day? Because they remind me of. Have you watched The Incredibles? Mr.
Yes.
Incredible. He's all sort of top half, isn't he? All the officials these days seem to be like that. They're built like brick shithouses up top, but got pencil thin legs. It's quite funny, but no, he was absolutely awful, and every decision that he made that was wrong was for us,
It was
which
fantastic.
just made it funnier.
He was utterly fantastic, that guy. I'll give you 3 instances of something he done. Like twice they kicked the ball out. We blatantly kicked it out either. We kicked it out or it came off us.
Yep.
And he flagged for us, and everyone around me, especially the guy in front, just couldn't stop laughing. And then there was the Daniel Harvey, quite literally pushed the guy over right in front of him, and he flagged it for a goal kick. You think, mate, that's outstanding work. He was brilliant. Him, the referee wasn't much better, Tony. To be quite honest, he was that. They were
Well,
poor
the referee,
officials,
as we know, has already got form for very, very bad mistakes, but. Yeah, that linesman, I mean, I know they all went in favour of us, but my lord, he was poor. He was poor. And some of those decisions... And again, I can get the, if in doubt, you give it to the defensive team. That's, that's the thinking, and that's how it's always worked.
We
but
blatantly kicked it out right in front, about a yard in front of the guy. You think, I don't know. We'll give it to them. Maybe he felt sorry for us. Oh, we'll give it to them. They're flirting with relegation. Give him a wee hand. He was
just out and out bad.
He was spectacular, that guy. He was like, just think, you don't know what you're doing, Chief. But like you say, he looked funny as well, which makes it even better, didn't it?
Yeah.
He had a spectacular comb.
What is? I mean, maybe he was maybe they're bringing back On the Buses, and he was auditioning for that. I don't know, but yeah,
he'd be. He'd be Olive's husband, Stan's father-in-law. That's who he was, wasn't it? He just would.
The cat's shit in his hat again.
Everyone now has to Google Olive's husband on the buses, because that is him right there. Oh, it was funny. He made my night, that. And then there was, did you see the condom business? That was funny. I thought that was genuinely quite funny. Yes, I did.
There was a great tweet about it. A very serious tweet about maybe you should concentrate cheering on the team instead of lobbing a condom about, which I thought was absolutely hilarious because it was said with such seriousness. Is seriousness a word? We're going to say it is today. But yeah, I thought the crowd was small, obviously last night.
It was good though. They made a difference last night, I thought.
Yeah, it was a good noise. But again, what was happening on the pitch will reflect what goes on in the crowd.
The fact that we were playing well gives the crowd something to get behind, doesn't it? Which they did. You know, small crowd as it was. It was a Tuesday night, bloody freezing. You know, but I enjoyed it. Apart from the fact
it was very cold.
God,
it was very cold. I don't often get cold at football, but
I did last night.
That was one of the colder ones. That was up where was some of the coldest nights I've spent watching a match.
I'll tell you what I was doing. Remember the old Vic Reeves rub your thighs thing? I just spent the whole night doing that. I'm doing it now, actually, even though I'm indoors. It was just, I was doing that all night. It was bloody freezing.
I maintained my masculinity. I didn't put gloves or a hat on. So
I had a hat and gloves on. I had a hat on. I had gloves on. I had a hoodie. I had the hood up with that, and I had the hood up on my jacket over the top of that, and I was still freezing. They shouldn't have football when it's cold, should they? They should wait till it's warm. We should do.
So basically, don't play from sort of October to
May.
To May. All right, yeah, that seems very reasonable. Yeah.
I don't know where we are in the table, but that's not done us any favours. That really, all joking aside, it's a bit of a kick in the bollocks, to be quite honest. That goal getting in, it really is terrible, really. You know. Yeah,
we were. I say by far the better team. There was no competition when it came to who was the better team. There was no argument. But goals win games, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And
I've actually had a tweet about that from your old mate Tassie. I'll just see if I can find it and read it out. Where is she? Let me find it. There it is. She says, "Possession means nout. Playing better means nout. Scoring a goal means you might win. And that means everything, including 3 points." That is just exactly last night, in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who really was to blame for that. A lot of people were saying it was bloody hell, what's his name? Was it Tucker that got the blame for it?
Well, I mean, you can look back on the goal that they scored, and you can see one, how bad the free kick was, straight into the wall.
Yeah, terrible.
Two, when it broke out, I think it was Tenai Watson. Went sort of a half-hearted attempt to cross it back into the box.
Well,
he then hit it off a Shrewsbury player. It then he then went back to Tucker, and Tucker turned onto his left foot. Now, 9 times out of 10, we would have gone back to the keeper because that's the way we play. We reset. We play the reset and we play it well. And even though it was the dying minutes of the game, and it probably would have got a bit of oh no, here we go, ball's going backwards. It was the safe option, but he then decided to play a left-footed pass to Daniel Harvey. Daniel Harvey didn't get there, was stuck in man's land. The bloke had momentum, took it past him, and then laid it off to the fella who scored the goal. So, yeah, there were more than a few mistakes there.
4 separate people to blame for that, like you say.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and there were a lot of mistakes, and sadly, that's cost us massively, and that was that. It was all done, and it was game over, because despite our possession, and we had a few shots, a few on target, but at the same time, we didn't really look overly threatening when it come to being able to put one in the back of the net.
We looked better.
We looked a lot better, and it, as I say, generally all round, it was more encouraging. There seemed to be a bit more. Effort's the wrong word, but
skill, Tony.
It was definitely better. It was
better to watch.
You come away from that. We definitely, we could say that we would have lost that game last night, probably without playing the way that we did, and it's just really. But there is always the bonus of it definitely looked more encouraging, and Lico looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him playing regularly. But we lost, and that is what really matters.
We did. What did you think of that other guy we brought on, the lad that was at Wimbledon for the first half of the season? I thought he was actually alright. I was
Yeah,
expecting
he was
him.
decent.
I was expecting him to be a bit shit because I thought, well, if he's playing for them, he must be shit because they're just fucking rubbish. But no, I was impressed. Well, I wasn't impressed with
by
him.
default.
Yeah, I thought he was all right.
Default, he has
To
to
be
be
quite
shite.
honest, I thought he was. I thought, well, you're all right, mate. You're pretty. Which I guess, they've set him here because we can sort of, make him better than he was there. And that's, I guess, how the loan system works. But
Well, yeah, with all due respect to our lovely rivals there, they're not renowned for their pretty football, whereas we are. Although you could argue that it's not that pretty at the moment. But again, last night was encouraging despite the result. If we can carry that on, and if anything, actually losing that game might be, it's not better than winning it, but it might be a case of, well, you played that well, but you still lost. So what's missing? What do we need to do to make sure that it doesn't happen again? How can we make sure that those sorts of performances are rewarded with goals and wins?
I thought last
So
night.
that's something to think about for them now from that point of view.
I thought playing Isa on the wing last night worked. That's the best I've seen that working. To be quite
Oh, that
honest.
reminds me. He looks very hungry at the
He
moment.
does, yeah.
He looks like he wants to score every single time he gets the ball. Those 2 goals he scored on Saturday, the way he finished those, that was a throwback.
That one that was a tight angle. That was a
someone.
great goal.
Yeah,
That,
bearing
yeah.
in mind he has been out for however long he was injured for. I mean, those finishes were absolutely fantastic. The second one, especially. I mean, he should never have been allowed to score from there.
No.
He probably shouldn't have even shot from there, to be honest. But he did, and he scored, and we won. And we haven't even mentioned that.
That was a good result, that, because I wasn't there, but I was listening to it on the radio. When I watched the highlights, their first goal came from a simple ball over the top. And you think to yourself, we should be dealing with shit like that. But then, I mean, it's a cliche, isn't it? But cliches are cliches because somewhere in the past that thing was true. You can really only play what's put in front of you, weren't you? They were just, there. You can see why they're in the shit, basically. Because they're...
Yeah,
I mean, he
that's
should
the thing,
never...
though, is that we are that team. We are in that position. So, firstly, you've got to, and something as we know, historically, we've generally had an issue with, to an extent, is breaking teams like that down if we're going to be playing the style of football we want to. But, yeah, lots of good stuff. A win on Saturday, all right, a loss last night, but much improved in terms of the quality of what was on the pitch. And Lico looks, like we say, could be the difference.
I bloody hope so.
Mo looks really, like I say, Mo looks really hungry and wanting to score goals. And the problem is,
I'll tell you the problem, Tony.
aren't scoring the goals, and we are still letting them in.
I'll tell you what the problem is, Tony. And
Very simple,
it was something
really.
that I mentioned last week, and you stood up for the guy. Greg was, once again, I thought he was really poor last night. He really was. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I don't know what to say any longer about him. I just, I don't really know. What can you say? Defend him, Tony. Go on.
I will always defend Greg because I adore the bloke. But yeah, you're right. I mean, and again, we did play with, pretty much 2 number 9s starting, although Issa was out wide. But he is a striker. He's a number 9.
Yeah.
Griggy obviously is a number 9. And Griggy, he doesn't mind coming in from wide. In fact, that is part of his success, is that he does come in from wide. He does hang around out wide. I mean, maybe now, after performances like last night and the fact that we lost, they might feel a bit grieved and think, right, we need to do something about this. Or just keep doing the same things again, and hopefully the success will come with it, and the points and the wins. Because looking at the rest of the season and the games that we've got, it ain't looking pretty. I mean, we're now coming out of that phase where we're playing the teams that are around us.
It's fast, Tony, becoming... It'll be February before you know where we are. This is 25th of bloody, January right now. January's gone, isn't it, to be quite honest?
Yes, I mean, that's it, done. And when you look at those fixtures that we've had in that period, and most of those games are teams in and around us. And that phase is now going, and we're going to be getting the second games against the likes of Sheffield Wednesday. We've got Ipswich, we've got Derby, we've got all of these teams who are up there. The last few weeks we've been playing teams in and around us mainly, and we've done all right. But that's the big thing for me now is the teams that we would expect at the moment to lose to. Anything we get out of them is going to be bonus points, and I hate saying that when you look at how well we did last season. It couldn't be any different, could it? Terrible. It is really quite depressing when you think what we achieved last season and where we are now.
What about this then? If you were Mr. Jackson, how about playing I sit on one wing, Leko on the other wing, and old Dennis up through the middle? That's what I would do if it was me.
I like Matt Dennis as well. I like him a lot.
I'm all for
playing two up front, or two out and out number 9s, even if one of them is wide, as I said earlier, and whether that's Griggy or Dennis has obviously whatever happened internally with his behaviour or whatever you want to call it, not turning up late for training, etc. But you can't say that he has. I think he's actually gone a little bit backwards from where he was earlier in the season.
I mean, having said that, he's not scoring, has he? I'm saying play him. He's
that as well. He hasn't scored for ages.
He's no different to Greg. I'm saying play him instead of Greg. Neither of the pair of them are doing anything, are they? You just notice him better because he runs about a bit, doesn't he? And throws himself in front of the ball. But he's not scoring, is he? So I don't know what else to say.
No. It's all very good having heroics like that, but he's there to score goals, and
he's not doing it now.
That's what he's supposed to be doing, and again, something we are severely lacking is goals. With all that possession last night, the way we were playing and being very comfortable,
we still created next to nothing. Yeah,
we still didn't score. No. We didn't really look too threatening. We had a few close calls, but at the end of it, we lost 1-0, and that's all there is to it. And we can talk all night about how much of an improvement we think it was or whatever, but
we've still not won.
We've still not won, and I haven't actually looked at the table since because I didn't want to.
Because quite a lot of games called off, wasn't there?
I'm not looking, Mum. I'm not looking at the table. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
There was quite a lot of games called off last night, so I think Cambridge was called off, weren't they? So you'd think they've probably were in a false position, but you don't know. I mean, they've still got to win, haven't they? I'll look at the table on our behalf. We are still 19th. We started in 19th.
Well, I'll take it. What about games in hand? Or not that we have them, obviously.
No, I don't know.
Not anymore.
I'm not getting involved in that, quite honestly. How many go down? 3?
3 from... 4 from League One, isn't it?
Oh,
because
right.
It's 3 up.
So
4 up.
Forest Green are bottom.
2, sorry.
Yeah, Forest Green are bottom. Burton are second bottom. Then you get Cambridge, and in the final relegation place is Morecambe. So they've got Forest Green are on 21 points, Burton 22, Cambridge 24, Morecambe 24, and we're on 25. So, I mean, if Cambridge...
It shows how quick the table can change, doesn't it? Because it wasn't that long ago we were saying about Morecambe being above us. And
yeah. If Cambridge win their game in hand, then they're above us, aren't they?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I mean, there's...
We'll be in the shit.
There's got to be 5 or 6 teams there that you would think that at any point in the season we should always be above.
I mean, above us...
At least half of them are above us right now.
Above us in 18th is someone, and they're in 28, whoever they are. I can't see who that is now, to be quite honest. Is it Cheltenham? Might be.
Cheltenham are definitely.
I mean, they're on 28 points, so even if we win on bloody, Saturday, we won't go above them, will we? We'll just either equal them or...
This is it, and this is the point where we're getting to now, is where we've dragged back some points recently, not catching those teams above us, but narrowing the gap at least, and we have taken over a couple here and there, but it very much does seem to be... I'm not going to say one step
you're
forward,
looking at the table
back, but...
I mean, I'm looking at the table and like visually it looks good because we're not in the bottom 4, but it's a point, isn't it? That we're just a point, and the fact that they've got games in hand, that's what's fucked us up, to be quite honest. So I think we're in a false position at the minute. It's just ridiculous, this. Like you said a minute ago, when you think what it was like last season, to go from that to this is just what a wee.
I don't know. I know other teams do it, and you get it does happen remarkably often that a team will have an absolutely fantastic season and then just completely drop like a stone the next season, and that is, I mean, we know exactly why it has happened to us this season. It's clear that the quality of the players that we've got in simply isn't anywhere near the standard that's required. But you've got to deal with that, and we are at the stage now, whereas we have to accept that this is our lot right now. Deal with it. Go out and win a few games.
I mean, we've got Exeter, haven't we?
Accept that is our lot. That is us now for the rest of the season.
Well, we've got Exeter, haven't we?
There are other players coming in.
I mean, we've got Exeter, haven't we, on Saturday? I think they're sort of
Exeter Saturday, yeah,
quite comfortably mid-table, aren't they? I mean, you think,
yeah,
that's not a given, is it?
You would imagine, you would say, you'd be surprised if I said to you at the beginning of the season, by the end of January, not only we're going to be 19th, but just have a look at the teams that are actually above us in the table.
That's a problem
as well.
I mean, bloody Exeter.
You can't really say there's anybody down there that shouldn't be there. And again, that happens quite often. You might get, I mean, Charlton are the obvious candidates for that, and Portsmouth occasionally underperforming. But there really isn't anybody down there with us right at this moment in time, in my opinion at least, that you wouldn't expect to be there, except for us.
It's quite funny because the top five actually are Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, Derby and Bolton. You just think, well, that's how it actually should be, isn't it? I mean, that's how League One should go at the minute, because those teams are, let's not beat about the bush, massive compared to everyone else in League One, aren't they,
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, it's just an absolute nuisance. It really is. It's an absolute pain in the arse, this. It's the last thing I need.
It is hard work, isn't it?
It really is hard work,
And I say we could chat for hours and days and years about what needs to be done, but there isn't anything that anybody can do right now other than go out and try and win games and score goals. It is that simple. It's very, very simple. Goals win games. We aren't scoring as many as we should, and we're still conceding when we're not scoring. And defensively, we have, I suppose, got better. But at the same time, there's nothing to say unless they suddenly become much, much better very, very quickly. We are still in the shit. And I'm now feeling a little bit more upset, perhaps, that we could end up 19th, 18th, 19th. But can we just write this season off and start again? Can we just agree that we managed to avoid relegation, have a totally underwhelming season, and start fresh from next season? Maybe.
My biggest disappointment.
Let's do that.
They will let us do
I mean, they gave us a league place, so
they give us nicely. My biggest disappointment is that it's taken sort of to the end of January, beginning of February before you can see any half decent, here we go. But I mean, like you say,
but again,
we played well last night.
I mean, again, we keep saying last night, is that a full stop? We're saying full stop. We still lost.
We lost, yeah.
And
you can say, you look great.
We won on Saturday.
Yeah.
Again, really isn't that much to shout about.
No, against a team rock bottom, I mean, I know we're not pulling up any trees, but they're rock fucking bottom, aren't they? Them. But like last night, you can say, he looked great, old Gleckles, and he was brilliant, all those little tricks. We still lost, we lost.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, is points on the board, and we can talk about. I mean, we often did when we went to the Championship. It was great football. It was it was as good as it had ever been. Yet we got relegated at the end of that season, comfortably relegated.
I mean, you can see you can go out there.
We were lacking in other areas.
Yeah, you can go out there. You can play your game. Everyone think, they play really good football. Milton Keynes, Donjay. We fucking lost nearly every single game that season, didn't we?
We got relegated that season, and for the vast majority of that season, we were the team with the highest possession in all our games. Throughout the entirety of that season, I think we finished up like second or third in the possession table after that. But for a vast majority of that season, we were top performers when it came to possession. But we got relegated. And we've been saying it for years on this podcast. What does stats mean?
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
Basically.
Absolutely fuck all.
You know what?
What the only stat you're interested in is how many did you score, how many did you let in, and how many points did you get?
That's the only things that matters, really. It's a bit of a shame, really. I just think, like I said like a couple of seconds ago, my biggest fear is we've left it too late, really, this season. I'm still...
Well, as the games creep by, I mean, we're going into February now.
I know.
You know, and then March and April will just disappear, as they always do.
Yeah. Before you know where you are, it'll be May and you'll be looking at the table thinking, fuck me, it's the last day, we could be relegated. Or what more likely will happen is you get to the last day and it's mathematically that we could be up, but we're relying on other people being shitter than us. That's what it's going to come down to.
You see, would you take safety with 3 games to go, or would you take... All right, give 3 options. Safety with 3 games to go.
Right,
so we go safety, and we go to Burton.
Right.
We know on the final day of the season that we're safe from relegation. That's a decent feeling because the last away day is always the best one. You go to scenario number 2. We are in the relegation zone.
Ooh.
And it's in our hands.
In our hands, right? Okay.
Yes. So if we win, or if we get a point, we definitely stay. We still stay up. Or scenario 3, we're in the relegation zone. It's not in our hands. We have to rely on other people. Or actually, four scenario.
Options.
We're out of the relegation zone,
and then we get dragged back in.
But if we lose or results go against us, we will be relegated. Which of those 4? If you had to, and you were feeling a bit frisky. Just for the excitement, you know? I mean, it sounds perverse, really, doesn't it? That I'm even thinking like that, but...
To be honest with you, Tony...
I just want a bit of excitement, mate. I just want a bit of excitement.
I'm a man in my 60s. My days of feeling frisky have long gone, I got to be honest with you. So I'm going to take option 1, please. Safe with 3 games to go.
I get a feeling that the majority of our fans would probably agree with you. But, you know, it could come to that. I mean, one thing you could say about this club, we rarely have boring seasons.
Oh, we don't just... No, we very rarely. You know, never disappoints, does it, either? You know, thinking, God, we've missed out on getting to the championship by a goal, or, holy fuck, we're going to get relegated in next February.
The difference this season, though, is that the issues aren't just about what's going on the pitch either.
No.
There are lots of other things going on that we've discussed at great length in previous podcasts.
I seen your man last night. In fact, I actually spoke. This bit will get cut out, obviously, but you know what he was more interested in? I'm definitely cutting this bit out. Well, like we say, we've just cut out a bit that was potentially libelous, Tony. So you'll never know what that is.
Get off of that. I've got an interesting email, actually.
Oh, it's not from Sandy Gallagher, is it?
You can help me out here, right? So this is from Dan.
Dan, right? Just Dan. That's it. Only.
Doesn't say. It's the email address doesn't suggest exactly which Dan. But based on this email, I'm going to call him Dango Bingo.
Right.
Or Bingo Dango.
Bingo Dango. That sounds better.
And he says,
"Oh, Man United have scored, Tony. Sorry.
Hey?
Man United have just scored. It's 1-0. 5 minutes in. Carry on."
As the football has been shit and I'm bored at work, I've created the Sit Down or We'll Steal Your I've created the Sit Down or We'll Steal Your Club podcast drinking game.
Oh, go on.
And he points out, I stress that this is in no way an attempt to take the piss out of you guys.
Yes, it is.
Quite the opposite, actually. I look forward every week to your podcast. And the morning it comes out is usually my favourite commute to work that week. That's very nice of you, Dan.
Very nice, Dan. Thank you very much.
The rules are simple, and you will drink when the following happens.
Go on, no, listen, we're desperate to hear this. Go on.
And you're going to have whilst I'm reading that, also have a little think about some others, because I'm thinking...
I have actually got...
I'll read them out first.
No, hang on before you go, Tony. I have got a glass of very nice red wine, so every time you say one, I'm going to have a sip of wine going.
Right then, so, drink whenever John says the phrase, I don't know what to say.
I've said that about 4 times tonight already.
Drink whenever Tony mentions he's spoken to Carl. Double shot if Tony was drunk when he texted him. That should also be if Carl was drunk when he texted him. Anyway, drink whenever John shouts and interrupts Tony mid-sentence to let him know Rangers have scored. That's pretty much every week.
This guy's brilliant.
Drink whenever John mentions Trent McLennan. Trent, that
I don't mention
Trent,
him very often, do I?
Yeah. Drink whenever John and Tony forget who we played the last game. Double shot if they have also forgotten the score. Well, that's a guaranteed drink there.
Quite be paralytic listening to this, wouldn't you?
If it's 2 games, you could be through half a bottle before we've even got into the first 2 minutes. Drink whenever Tony slags off Robbie Nielsen. Drink whenever John uses the word duplicitous. Double shot if he's referring to Russell Martin. I mean, that's a given anyway. Drink whenever Tony talks about prime numbers. Drink whenever John says the phrase, I'm not being funny, but double shot if the line that then follows it is, they were fucking shit. Drink whenever John says, I'm going to have to wind this down now because we've already done X minutes. Drink whenever Housewife's favourite Sam gets mentioned. Double shot if he's on the podcast. Drink whenever John's wife makes an appearance in the background.
She's made an appearance tonight already.
Yeah, and you must constantly drink for as long as she's there. Drink
man.
whenever John has to cut some dialogue out, leaving us all intrigued.
I've done that already tonight.
See off your drink if John puts something extra on the pod after the exit music. And he says, as mentioned, I hope you're not. You'll take this as a light-hearted joke. It's intended to be. Keep up the great work on the pod. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Dan. I'm thinking, Dick Advocat. That should go on the list.
Dick Advocat should be.
Dick Advocat, or he's playing Dick Advocat. There's another one I thought I say all the time, and I can't remember what it was.
Apart from that time, that guy sent that match report in when he was drunk. Remember that guy?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
that email was the second best email we've ever had on this podcast. That was outstanding work. That really was. That's someone who listens every single week. Almost all of those things that guy has said has already happened tonight, hasn't it?
Yes, it's just in the last 20 minutes.
Perhaps he's made an appearance. Like I've said,
yeah.
Like
you might need possibly a couple of bottles of wine and at least a 6-pack if you're a beer man.
I mean, I've cut a bit out. I've spoke over the top of you. I've already said I don't know what to say. Oh, brilliant, mate! That is fantastic. Oh, that's pleasing. That cheered me up. That was a good email. That was better than last night.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the podcast. The Sit Down and We'll Steal Your Club podcast drinking game. We may, if we can be asked. I don't think that would all fit in a tweet though. All of those.
No. But it is
all of those rules there. But yeah, if you can remember them, I mean, they're not that difficult to remember because we say them so often. So.
Oh, blimey, that was fantastic. So, what do you reckon then, Saturday? I couldn't even begin to guess now, to be quite honest. I just don't know what's going to happen after last night.
Because we're at this stage of the season, like you say, and how quickly the season goes from Christmas. You know, it always seems to take forever to get to Christmas, and then once Christmas has been and gone, and the Boxing Day and the New Year games have gone, the season disappears very quickly. So, I would be happy if the performances were on a similar line to what it was like last night. But can we play like that against teams like Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth, Plymouth, and all the others that are up there? I mean, we've got all of those up there to play still. Let's have a quick look at who we have got for our remaining fixtures because it ain't pretty, I'm sure. So. Obviously, Exeter on Saturday. Moving into February, Bristol Rovers away, then away to Oxford. Again, that certainly won't be easy. Bolton, Oxford at home, I should say, on the 11th of February. Bolton away, that's a Tuesday night. Sheffield Wednesday away. Ipswich at home, Lincoln away.
Is this in order?
Yeah, this is in the order we play them. Then Port Vale, Cambridge, Accrington, Morecambe. So there's 4 games that, again, if we could get, and that sounds a bit optimistic at this point, but if we could get 12 points from those 4 games, Port Vale, Cambridge, Accrington and Morecambe,
that's doable.
That could save us this season. And then into April, Wickham away, Portsmouth at home, Derby away, Cheltenham at home, Charlton at home, Fleetwood away, Barnsley at home, and then obviously the last game of the season is Burton. So
they're winnable games in
those 4 games in March, I think, looking at it now, that could make or break us. That really could.
There are winnable games in April, though,
isn't there? Those teams that are around us as well.
There are some winnable games in April, but not many. That's what it is.
We're looking at it from the point of view of that we're talking about surviving. You know, I'm saying about Port Vale, but they're 14th. You know, they just.
I mean, they are already safe, aren't they?
I still really struggle to deal with the fact that we're down there and accept that we're there because.
Well, shit.
Although we repeatedly say it, we aren't very good.
We're just a shit football
We're not
team
good enough. We're not good enough, I think, is the thing to take from that. But I mean, again, we're all sort of reasonably optimistic. But again, last 5 games, lose, draw, win, lose. That's 4 points out of the last 15.
Sorry, I'm distracted by Man United, Nottingham Forest. Sorry. They're showing some highlights of the goal. Sorry. Yeah, we've had it, mate. Basically, you know, to cut to the chase. If we survive, it'll be, I think,
at the expense of someone else, or because of another club's failings. I think
it will not be because we're good. It will be because someone else is shitter than us. It won't be because we're better than them. It will be because they are shit, basically, and they've messed it up. That's what I think will happen. I'm still, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would lay a bet on that we'll survive, but I'd be, you know, let's just say I wouldn't put more than 50 quid on it. I'll be honest, you know, 50 quid's my limit there. That's as high as I'd go.
Mean, the thing for me is the amount of games we've lost. We've lost the second highest amount of games. The only team that's lost more than us, Forest Green, have lost 17. We've lost 16.
I think
they're rock bottom of the table. Everybody else, except for Cambridge, who have also lost 16, has not lost as many as us. And a lot of them are 1-0s as well, aren't they? We're not getting kick-ins, are we, really, from anyone? We are being outplayed, and we've seen it several times this season. Plymouth, prime example at home.
Peterborough.
Where we weren't in the game at all, and they strolled to a victory. But
I'm pretty sure I read last night, or someone tweeted that we've got the worst home record in League One. I'm positive that's true.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least, because we were talking about it outside a couple of games ago, trying to work out the last time we won at home, and it was really difficult. In fact, we didn't actually remember. I think it might have been Accrington or something like that. Anyway, it was. We lose too many games and we lose too many at home. And again, last night, despite, I suppose, an element of improvement, we still lost. We still didn't get any points from it. But having said that, it is in our hands. We are 19th. But Accrington have got 2 games on us. Morecambe have got a game on us, as have Cambridge, and they're both only a point behind.
I think out of those 3, the ones I'm worried about most would be Cambridge, you know, dragging us back into it. But I
think Morecambe have had their little recovery session, haven't they? Now they've dropped back down. Forest Green are clearly awful.
They've gone, I think. You can write them off,
for some reason, I say Burton, they've won 2 of their last 5. But everybody in and around us is doing as badly as us. I mean, Cheltenham, although we were saying last week about how well Cheltenham have done to get themselves out of the shit, they've actually lost 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, I mean, Cambridge
and pretty much everybody around us has got a game in hand on us now.
Yeah, Shrewsbury beat Cambridge 5-1 like at the weekend, and if you were to see the game last night, you would have thought, I can't see you guys ever scoring 5 goals, but there you go, they did, so funny old game. Football, Tony. Funny old game.
Again, we can't really say now this season that teams are coming to us and setting up to, not concede a goal, because why would you do that against us at the moment?
We ain't going to score one, that's why.
There's absolutely no point in doing that, because you might as well come to us and think, right, we're going to win here, we should be winning here. But Shrewsbury didn't look like a team that had come to try and win the game.
They didn't last night,
or is that because we were that much better than them? I don't know. But again, we came away with 0 points, they came away with 3 points.
Right, are we done?
Was that?
Right, it's finished now. I'm done. More than that. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. I'm exhausted.
Why would you do that?
You know what? It was I had to go. I don't know if this has been on the podcast or if we spoke about it before we started recording. I had to go to Valent, Tony, who are the leaders in air source heat pump central heating.
Of course they are.
And
everybody knows that.
This course has been put off. This is the 4th time it's been organised for me to go, and every time something's happened, I've either been on holiday or I've been too busy to go. So I went today, so I had to be there quite early, and you think, it's quite a distance, Derby, which is where they're based. Actually, it's not where they're based, it's where they're nearly based. So, like I got up at 4:30, I left really early, drove up there, got to Derby, looked on, Google Maps on my phone, and it was half an hour north of Derby. You just think, for fuck's sake. It was horrible.
That's not Derby then, is it?
No, it isn't. It was foggy. It was like sort of a misty rain, like when it's fog, but it's not quite raining, it's not fog. It was just horrible. I'm getting on the M1. I put my windscreen washers on, and I'd run out of water. I couldn't see.
That's the worst.
Mate. What I did have, though, I had a bottle of water in the van, so I'm thinking, I had to stop and pour a bottle of water, like a little drinking bottle. Just think, could this day get any worse? We'd lost last night on the very last minute. I've got up at 4:30. I've run out of water. I've got to Derby thinking I'm there, and it's half an hour to go. I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. So there you go. So think yourself lucky you're not me, quite honest.
Well, yeah, my commute to work was walking up the stairs after I'd got my coffee.
Don't say that.
Yeah, that was it. That was it for me, and thoroughly enjoyable day it was as well.
Right, I am 100% finished now. 50 minutes, Tony. That's not bad, is it?
It's not bad. What's your prediction for Saturday then?
Oh God, I don't know. 0 each, no score.
I'm going to go 1-0 us, and a little bit of excitement. Just please give me a good game. Give me a good game to watch.
Give them a good game.
It's not much to ask, is it?
If you don't give us a good game on Saturday, we're not doing another podcast there. How does that? That's put pressure on them, Tony, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
Right, we will.
Let's hope we can get that linesman back at some point. Oh, I was meant to say Mr. Jackson was quite vocal towards him as well last night, and he was as a linesman was running past him. He said, "Keep up with the line, Lino," because I could see from where I was the line. He wasn't anywhere near keeping up with the last defender. He was more often than not behind. So God knows how he was going to call any offsides, but the way he probably wouldn't have given us any offsides against us anyway, even if someone was 20 yards offside.
He was too busy worrying what Olive was doing, mate. That's what his trouble was. Right, I'm going to finish this bottle of wine and I'm going to edit this podcast, and by 10 o'clock tonight it will be up on Spotify, so you can download it at your leisure after 10 o'clock. Right, we're done. I'm finished. Yay. Bye. That's us finished. I'm pressing the stop button. I'm pressing it now.